And they're off, ready for the top 16 of the Texas Materia Cup. Big shout out to Lone Star Pack Breaks for hosting our tournament. Ghoul02 for hosting the stream, helping me co-commentate. And of course, I'm your host, Travis Rudros Pfeiffer, bringing all the action to you as Patrick starts off with Nordstallen. Can you ask for a better opening? If you're Icewind, I don't think you can. Going first is also huge, of course, so that's...
Oh yeah, it makes a massive difference.
Presumably we get the Uke. Now, the one thing, like you said, we do have Art Chaos in here, which could either prove to be like a huge game swinger that it gives us that extra dimension that we're not used to dealing with Icewind, or, like you said, it could brick us too. Could maybe harm us.
Against Ice Earth is not where you want to be.
Yeah. So we search out the Uke. Presumably we'll put that on the next turn along with the Evray, and we'll pass it over to Mr. Goldstein. Oh no, we actually just do it right now. He pitched Evray.
Oh.
And Zidane. Oh, he's going ham. Takes a Prish. That's a good steal. Also takes a Hackathon Kyre. Another good steal. And hits a Rydia into damage. Holy moly. Never mind. Forget the slow. Pat said, how about the all gas, no brakes? Let's go.
I see we have drawn none of our 6 Chaos and Arcs.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, okay. I mean, he stole some great cards. I really don't like throwing the Evray out. I know you can recur it later with an Asura, but
Evray and Stiltskin, there's a lot of good stuff we threw away there.
And like, I wonder, does he think that he needs to be the beatdown deck? I mean, they're both, kind of slower setup decks, so. But maybe he values. I mean, again, great steals with the Hekaton and the Prish. That Prish could come down next turn and just lock out whatever backups we have. I don't think he can warp the Prish because I still think you specifically have to pay the ice and the earth. For its ability.
Not only that, but also you have to warp.
Oh, it has to be from your hand. Yeah, and it's not in your hand.
Casting it from RFG.
Yep. Well, we get Unileska, and we're going to go search out Vice. Well, he's got nothing in hand, so you probably don't want to slap the Vice down right now. You probably want to wait one more turn. And I mean, man, like Pat, if this works out, obviously, then all props to him, and he played it the right way. But if this doesn't work out, he had Evray, he had Stiltskin, like he had the time to set up. We did draw Moogle for turn, which is nice. Gonna steal one more card. Mind if I take your Hekaton backup breaker? That's pretty good. Oh, and he hits the Helgigas. He's just hitting all the money stuff. Presumably, we're gonna put down that Moogle, unless we want the Prish. No, we're just gonna break the Nero. Oof. After the double stolen Hekaton. Okay, so yeah, maybe Pat doesn't need to set up. Yeah, why do that when I can just beat your face in with Zidane?
Joey's looking like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, he's like, he tried to tell, sir, I don't know if you were aware of this. Those are actually my cards. I would like to use them if you don't mind. At just pedal to the metal. He's like, I'm tired of playing slow setup cast all the time. I'm going all in, baby. Did Joey untap, or are we using the Unileska?
Now we're gonna really be feeling that Biblos being gone now, because the Biblos can lock the Zidane down for us if we needed to. But then we tossed the Biblos to play the Unileska.
Yeah.
There's only 2 in the list, I believe.
Oh, really? And with the Zidane already on the field, I'm kind of surprised. Maybe he didn't have anything better to do. I'm not sure.
I mean, although we're on damage 2, so Mira would be really choice about now.
Also true.
Mira, get back the Biblos as well, then use the Unileska to force a discard, lock the Zidane, put him on
Are we having a judge call? He put his hand off to the side of the table, and it looked like someone else was Huh, what's going on? We didn't detect any shenanigans. Were we trying to do an extra shuffle or something?
I do not know what's going on here.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened there. He revealed a white tiger listing Nimbus, and then looks like the deck was shuffled. Well, anyway, not 100% sure what happened there, but if we could get out Weiss, even without the Nero, and then being able to Unilesk, like you said, freeze. Hey, there you go. You wanted the Biblos, right? Although we had to use the Unileska for it, so we can't trigger it. Of course, Zidane also can't just free run into Larkishus either. Unless he wants to die. You got a death wish, boy?
Yeah.
Sarah Mobius. Oh, Ghoul's happy.
There's my girl.
Someone get a sponge for Ghoul. We got to start mopping his brow because.
Oh, and the full art too. Let's go.
All right. Well, I know who you're rooting for. I mean, you do want to see her earlier, right? Especially when your opponent isn't on a ton of resources, and there's certainly no removal for her in hand. You could cast the Hecaton, but you're killing your own Zidane too. He could also Atomos. He could Atomos. He could put out the Moogle. Yeah, he's like, let me read this card. What does this do?
Oh.
Goes for the Atomos. I will say, so if he doesn't Hecaton right now, this Sarah Mobius now can protect itself or something else. Atomos, you will get 2 backups. There's nothing you can do with them at the moment. And then just passes. Oh, no. Sarah's online.
And we're at the mythical game state with the Sarah Mobius.
Right, yeah. And this could be a turning point. We still have 2 great cards in reserve that Pat used, but granted, he does have Atomos and 3 backups now, but he's still in top deck mode. Here comes Mr. Larkishus. Pat cracks the knuckles and reveals Physalis, action hero Physalis. Obviously, no reason to use the Unilesk at the moment. We got rid of another Nero, so presumably there's only one left in the deck. But when you get Rydia down, we've got our Earth CP now. We'll search out presumably another copy of Unileska. And is there a certain sum in your favor in here? Cool.
I almost would go for like a Mist Dragon. Heka's not bad either. Just really put the screws in, hit the Uke out of the game.
Does he have more than one? Because I think Pat used his first one. Or does he only have the one copy?
2 Uke.
We drew Sid Hayes and Alexander, which would let us draw a card. Depending on what we drew, we could potentially get a 3rd cast this turn. Sid Hayes, you play the Alexander for free. Atomos will give you 2 backups back. And if it was something you could cast off those 2 backups, you could get the Sid Hayes trigger. Or you could Hecaton. Now, the thing is, though, Sarah Mobius is active. Your girl's ready. So yeah, she's ready to tax.
What she's supposed to be doing here. And then if you go for the Hecaton, you can't empty your hand, I guess you can if you pitch both of these to cast the Heka, but that feels really bad.
Yeah, and the Sarah will survive. Goes to combat. Opts to Dull Zidane. See, now you can freely Heka. I don't know if I like that.
I mean, you just don't want to have your deck continue being ripped, and I think if you're okay with him casting Heka here because he's going to have to go so out of his way to do it.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, but your girls, I wanted to see Sarah Mobius stick around. Bummer.
Because now we're at the point, he's got 2 cards in hand. We've got the Biblos, the Unileska. We can start discarding a little bit. This is where the Heka would have been really nice, though. Break the Uke and lock him out of ICP for the game.
Yeah. That would have been sweet. I mean, you can freeze it with... no, never mind. Patrick has the Prish. I'm like, there's a Prish just sitting there. Use it. Biblos, of course, has no targets currently. Oh, okay, yeah. So who needs that Prish when you get our own? Locks out the Moogle, actually, fearing the Moogle search.
It's understandable. Retrieve is such.
But man, like the ice, yeah, you could mess up the locks at Hayes right now. I understand it, but I guess I personally I would pick the ice every time. He drew Arc, which he can't use.
It's really not a great set of top decks, though.
Honestly, I think you return Prish here.
Yeah, you go.
You hate to get rid of Sid Hayes or Lock, so you either sit and hold both of those cards for a better turn, or you use your opponent's Prish.
And this is the problem with the Chaos and Arc, though. If that was any other card, we could go for like Sid Hayes into Prish, but because we drew the Arc, we have to get rid of one of our 2 big engine payoff pieces.
Yeah.
In order to play that, I almost wonder. Yeah, we're just gonna pass.
And there's a bonus burst. Chocomog will go ahead and get us out. Chocolate is a good target. The Ice Moogle is another good one. We can rip one card out with Unalesca. Probably not really worth it since he has so many in hand. He'd probably just pitch the Arc at this point. Not that Joseph knows what he has, but
I really would love to see that Weiss sometime soon.
I know. But him breaking the Nero is pretty huge too. Is he taps Unalesca, puts an Arcus? Yeah, just says, "All right, I'm gonna take some." This could be a big turn here for Icewind, and he draws a Moogle. So you got a lot of options. You could Sid Haze into the Moogle. Atomos is going to stand 2 back up, and then you can lock right there, which I'm presuming is what he's going to do. See, and this is where you wish you had that Sarah Mobius that you could tax this. Yep, Moogle for free. That's 2. Standing back up. Here comes lock.
I can't believe Sid Haze doesn't say can't become 0. What were
I
they
don't think
thinking?
anyone would believe that. You could Moogle search if you really wanted to, but yeah, I think he's going to go for the lock. You could break the Biblos, probably freeze Unalesca and Rydia. Yeah, that's... No, he goes for the ICP. Could lock him out of Earth entirely, but decides I'd rather lock you out of Ice. And then, yeah, well, of course, duh, because Sid Haze says, don't worry, I'll get those other 2. And your entire board's gone. Oof. Oh, well, sir. Pitch your hand for a Toto? I don't know. I don't know what you do here. We can follow up with our opponent's Prish as well.
Oh yeah, and the 4 backups now. It's going to be very hard to lock that down since we never found our Weiss.
Yeah. Well, we had it. We had the Nero Weiss, but our opponent stole Hecaton from us and then immediately used it to kill the Nero.
Yeah, we're really...
God, the Zidane steals were just insane. There's so many good
steals. Shantoto
steals.
seems so bad here too. I almost think you have to do it. You're going to get eaten alive by this.
No, he just passes.
Yeah,
Man.
I mean, what else are you going to do? You don't have...
Oh God,
nothing
there's another
feels good
Zidane
to play with no backups, but you're going to get... You just have to hope, but with this retrieve we're going to have access to,
you choke a Mog. Yep. Get whatever you want. That's cast 1.
Not what you want to see there.
I'll say, you get a backup, slap it down. That's cast 2. Put the Zidane out. That's cast 3. Sid Haze and Zidane. Oh my goodness, this is looking really bad for Ice Earth really quickly.
Yeah, and still having even access to retrieve if there was a specific card in the deck that would have gotten the combo off. We still haven't. We're still holding that. Like, I'm thinking this is looking like a game 2.
Yeah, definitely. There's Zidane. Number 3. Mind if I lock your Ice spec? And there's Weiss. Oof. Zidane, that stinky thief is just putting in work. And he's going to take one more. Mind if I use your Vincent? Thank you kindly.
Oh my God. Yeah, we don't have the ability to do it super close. Oh, we can just cast the Prish too and lock him right back where he started too.
Well,
oh.
Shantoto for your life. It's one of those board states that, like, you pretty much just have to Shantoto.
Yeah. Doesn't feel very good, though.
I wouldn't rely on keeping the Prish alive, especially with that Arc in hand. He can just hardcast the Arc if he needs to.
I mean, the big problem, though, is with that Vincent stolen, like Vincent Prish just waiting to be cast. You can just go Vincent into Prish and just lock all those backups down again after the Shantoto.
Zidane card, pretty good.
Assuming we even have it, and then you're also, he's on Chaos Arc. Like, you have to go for it if you have it, but I feel like the hesitancy is...
I mean, I guess you could Hecaton, but you'd leave the lock around. Yeah, he does go for the Hecaton.
That's not bad. That's a start. That kills the engine.
Yeah.
Going on. We lose the Zidane, we lose the Sid Hayes. We're still going to have all of our stuff frozen next turn, but we have the big old Prish now hanging out, able to do stuff until he casts his Prish.
Hey, there you go. The resurrection of Biblos will help. Man, I almost kind of wish. Well, of course, the Unalesco is frozen. If he could get a discard right now and start locking cards out. Yep. And we'll go the old Google Moogle retrieve. Moogle, type into Google. Find me a. Wait for it. Almost there. He doesn't know, actually. Okay, I thought the way he did, I thought maybe he had a really specific target in mind.
No, this is kind of a tricky scenario to be in, honestly.
Goes for chaos.
I mean, chaos is.
I mean, you just tap 5, pitch a card, steal one of those, arc the other one. Like you're still pretty much just blowing him out, right?
And get 2 backups back as well off of that, so you get a Chocolate counter for free. That's not bad. And then you also put it where.
Here's Mr. Chaos. And there's no way Joseph has a response to this.
No.
So you give him the Larketius. He's going to break. You could have broken Larketius with the Arc and then forced him to give you Prish. But it doesn't matter. They're both. Yep. Actually, what you do is you cast Arc and then your opponent scoops. Man, Zidane just, put in a lot of work, that monkey.
Yep, that is what he does.
That
Why
genome.
The card is still maybe one of the most powerful cards in the game. I still can't believe we don't see it more, to be honest. I know people have really gotten attached to the Fire Wind one, but when that card goes off, it goes all the way off.
I mean, again, those steals were just absurd. Getting to, if he had not been able to get the Hecaton, and he's got Ceremobius, he can put out Weiss with the Nero. I think that game suddenly changes very quickly.
Yeah.
But just breaking that, like I just stole your Hecaton. All right, bye-bye, Nero. That was just brutal. So one nice thing for Joseph is he will, what am I trying to say? He will get to go first this time. Well, Pat clearly made the right choice by going ham on the Zidane. Questioned it there for a second, but man, did it pay off. So one more of those on his end, and he's going to be on his way to the top 8.
Patrick, your last name is too long.
I understand your frustration, Fabian. It's certainly not fun being on the receiving end of a free cast, lose your forward, lose 2 cards. Lady Physalis goes away. We put out the Knight for the Crystal. We do have a Robel Akbel in here, so.
I mean, Robel's kind of the other, but Physalis and Robel are almost like the 2 big bosses of the Ice Earth.
Yeah.
Traditionally, so.
I understand Joseph right now because I feel like I always have to discard Physalis early. She always shows up. There goes a Geomancer for Nagmalata. Interesting. Doesn't go for the Earth backup. Maybe didn't have another Earth card to play it. Is going to search out.
I guess we don't have anything in deck we really want to search, or we're afraid of holding on to that.
Yeah. Now, one thing too, this Ice Wind matchup, it really doesn't worry about these monsters too much, thanks to Locke. That Locke can just say, actually, I don't really care about your monsters, but. And we draw 2 Chocobos for turn. Technically, one is a Choco Mog. But I'm assuming we've got double Sid Hayes in hand. We've got Althea. And I think we've got another, is that Stiltskin? I think it's Stiltskin back there. So Althea, reactivate the Great Google Moogle. Presumably put out Stiltskin, go get Evray. Get rid of Lady Physalis. And we'll pass after we search out Evray. There it is. All right. Ice Earth currently on just the ice, looking for the Earth to help move us along. Anything that could start attacking our opponent's resources, I'd like to see here. We do pitch. Okay, so there's Nero. We pitch a Vice for Nero. It'd be expensive, but there's a part of me that almost wants to see it come down this turn and just block the Althea. But
this is the turn to do it. If you don't do it, that's going to start getting a lot scarier. Especially
right? I mean, he's got a full grip. Maybe you do. I don't know what he's got in hand, but
Joey's seen me go all the way off with Evray Althea too. He knows how deadly that combo is.
Yeah, which you do. That is the one thing too, though, right? You did see him search out the Evray, so it's not like he can just pull the Althea back up. Man, Evray just, it invalidates so much of that strategy. And a single discard here is, I mean, not terrible, but he puts out the Toad. Okay, so he does pitch 2 from hand, but not for the Vice. Puts out for the Skill Toad.
So we're just kind of saying he doesn't have it.
Yeah. I think if you're Pat, you want to.
That's a full house of Sid Hazes, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say you want to go search out the Ice Moogle right now. You need some Ice CP. And yes, he's got every Sid Haze imaginable. Everywhere you look, it's Sid Haze. It's Sid Haze. He's gonna dull freeze ya.
Do we go play the Sid Haze here too and just get the dull freeze?
Get the free Moogle. Blech. Sounds disgusting.
That's all your Sid Hazes for the game if you do that, though.
Well, you can just pitch 1, play the Moogle. You've got your ice. You can still retain 1. Yeah, you can hold 1 in hand. Either that. I mean, you're pitching 1 regardless to get that Moogle down. So.
And you got the Toad as well hanging out. So if you don't start playing stuff, I mean, we got a really easy discard this turn anyway, probably. We're going Sid for Sid.
Doesn't put out the Evray, surprisingly. Yeah, and says, how about you play with no backup, sucker? Discards for the Toad. I don't know about not putting out that Evray. Like, now, granted, he doesn't have Unileska out, but on the offhand chance he can make you double discard. I mean, I know you could always Althea, but
Althea to get a discard fodder back.
Yep. Going in on Vice? Yes, we are. I didn't see what else we pitched with the Physalis, but so Nero will trigger our discard. Are we gonna give up the last copy of Sid Haze? You probably don't want to give up Evray. Yep. So now all our Sid Haze are gone. We dull freeze Althea. Evray, of course, will make that meaningless next turn. And a Krista. There we go. He got rid of the Evray. I would have played that out. You could have played it out, still reactivated the Althea. Now we're in top deck mode. So while that was expensive,
do you go for the Google Moogle or do you go for the? We are allowing him to have ICP.
Well, yeah, it looks like he picked Althea. He's afraid of that. Or did he get? No, he got a second dull freeze. That's right. Yeah, he does allow him to have ice. He drew Lulu and was it Northstalin?
Northstalin.
Is he going to go Norsh? Yeah, he's going to curve out to 5. Sid Haze, of course, cannot attack into Vice.
Or even into the Krista.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, Krista's online right now, too.
I wonder if do you consider failing the search for the Northstalin here? I guess there's not that many sources of discard from here.
Well, even just thinning the deck. You've already got your ICP down.
Yeah, it's more so to keep you from having
prevent the dull freeze, yeah. Maybe.
Especially because like Evray is gone until we draw an Azura to get it back.
He might be thinking since he doesn't have a Unileska out that the odds of him forcing a discard are going to be a lot less likely, especially because he'll also be in top deck mode. Krista will animate, goes in for a point of damage. There's good old boy Azana. Goes in with Vice as well. And there's Mr. Luso. Luso Azana.
It's a fun
And
combo when that shows
right,
up.
the backups can't do much. Yeah, we just passed there. Joseph likely drew something he didn't really want to use. He still doesn't have any Earth CP. And without Unileska, he doesn't have that continued form of discard. We have 2 backups, and what is that last card? Oh, it's Arc. He's just going to hard cast Arc on Vice. Hope those weren't useful cards in hand. It was another Vice and an Earth card he couldn't cast. Unfortunate. We didn't attack with the Sid Haze. Oh, I guess Krista could have blocked. Yeah, we didn't have a hand.
Krista's dull.
No, Krista was dull. Yeah. I don't know. Just didn't want to risk it, maybe. Just pass again. Oh, man, this is not looking good for Joseph. There's a Sura and a Tomos. 2 great draw. Like you mentioned earlier, Icewind has pretty solid top decks.
I mean, this is what the deck has to do in this matchup for sure. And it's got to avoid drawing those Chaos and Arcs on turns where it's not able to do what it did last turn, too. So we go what?
You could get back the Everett. You could get 3 casts. So you Atomos, Asura for the second cast, get back to get Everett back, Everett for the third cast. Now you've got your Sid Haze, Dull Freeze. Or
and
even
you start to also be able to do some really gross stuff with Sid Haze once you get that too.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't think Zidane is in the break zone. Otherwise, of course, you could get that. But I think Everett is his primary target for Asura. Or Physalis. You could get Physalis too.
Yeah, I would lean more towards the Everett here. It just has so much utility in this matchup.
Agreed.
And that is another option. We could get Google Moogle and go get anything.
Yeah, that's true. And then it becomes it won't count as your third cast. You would have to be able to cast whatever you search out.
Which would suck, because I don't think we could do...
I mean, you'll get
No,
2
lock
back off
you
of
could,
the...
You could go lock. You could go...
Right, because if you tap Stiltskin for Asura, get the Moogle, get back those 2, tap the Moogle, I think you'd still be... Would that be the... Yeah, that'd only be 2. You'd be 1 short for lock.
Okay, so we can't clear this Toad. I think in that situation, then you probably would just go for the Everett.
Goes for Physalis.
Oh, okay.
Well, Dull Freeze.
That's
Probably showing the cast.
Of all the options, that was the last one that I would have expected. So
yeah, no kidding. Hits the damage. Aw, there's your girl. Sir Mobius just got whacked into the next dimension. We've got a Nero in hand. That's no good. I think Iridia. I think we're struggling for Earth CP though.
Yeah, it's the classic Ice Earth problem.
Man, Joseph is he is struggling.
Backups on all of the wrong ones.
Right. Arcanist. So we get to 4. Still no Earth though. Are we just gonna have to pass after that? Oh man. Joseph is struggling. Pat's got to be feeling great right now.
Yeah.
I was gonna say dead draw with the Atomos, but he drew the Moogle, so actually do whatever you want. I mean, do you do some Althea stuff here? Just scoop up the Sid Haze.
I mean, this is where the Everett would have been really nice too. You
Yeah.
go do the double Althea and just have 3 casts for the Sid Haze to lock things down. And then that also would probably let you use the Google Moogle here to get lock and cast lock this turn.
Because if you scoop up Sid Haze, you legit can tap 3, put out Sid Haze, tap the single Moogle for Althea. You'll get 3 backups back. That would be, what, 2 casts? We'd need 1 more. Does the Moogle search?
We have that option as well. We can just dig for 2 cards and essentially... That is the nice thing with Physalis here. She does kind of say draw 2.
Yeah, I don't hate Melvin here either. Just lock out his backups again. You can do it on curve. You have a body that will come back if he somehow gets rid of it. Could also go for Alexander, yeah, to break the Toad. You're kind of playing lean now anyway, so I don't know how much, if the Toad's a huge issue, but...
I mean, it removes the only real threat that Joey's developed at this point in the game. These 4 backups are like nice, but they don't really do what you want to do.
Well, and he had to hard cast the Alexander, huh? You could,
Yeah.
again, if you did like the Althea loop thing, you could have just cast it for free and gotten rid of the Toad. We'll cast Alexander just for the Atomos trigger. Get 2 backups back.
I
Does he
almost
draw
wonder if we'd
something
be better
playable?
off instead of just pitching that Atomos to the Physalis and drawing 2.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, it's not. What is it? A draw? No, it removes 2 from
Removes
the
them from the
game, right?
game,
And
but
you
you can
can
cast
cast
them
them.
that turn. It's not quite the same, but pretty much the same.
No Sid Haze trigger. We'll go in for a point of damage. There's another 2 full arts in a row into damage. I almost said there's the third one. Well, there's a Rydia we would have liked to have pitched. Shantoto wouldn't be terrible here. It only hits 2 forwards, but it's something.
I mean, you really just want to get the Sid Haze off the board.
Yeah. It's not much of an opening, but Patrick didn't get the Sid Haze trigger that turn, so we've got our full backups. Hopefully we can do something on Joseph's side. Is this Toto? Is this Rydia? Okay, it will be Rydia. Man, no space for our Unileska, though. I mean, we can break the night if we have to, but... Are we going to go for a sweeper? Do we have another Earth? Of course, we could always Althea something back. Could also save the Arcanist to prevent 1 attack if you super care about that. If you're going to Heka, make sure you do that before you animate your Krista. No, just passes. Krista won't be able to block as long as we keep our cards in hand. Can search out a Google Moogle, can get back any summon with the Lulu.
Man, I almost wonder if we'd be better off leaving the knight active and just using the knight so we can get the Unileska down. We're really missing that form.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's not hitting his resources at all. Granted, you have to do it on your turn. You can't dull on their turn, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm saying do it now. I mean, that way the Unileska would be ready to go for this turn.
Yeah. So there's Lulu. That's our first cast. Could get back the 4-cost Alexander and just free break Krista right now if you wanted to. Could Chocobo. You got a lot of choices.
I mean, Evray is so good here too. I still think that Evray just has to be right at the top of mind, right?
Maybe he doesn't feel the pressure that like feels like he's in total control here. So maybe he's like, eh. And there's no Vice, there's no Unileska. Like he's Joseph is struggling to hit his backups.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh. Chocobo will. Who did we Chocobo? Did he Chocobo?
Chocobo Lulu.
The Lulu. Okay. No forward to target. Second cast. Drew another Chocomog. This is going to be our third cast. Lulu, get 1 back. And shenanigans begin. There's our... That. Go ahead and break Krista. Hope you don't mind. And I'll just draw a card off of that, too. That's a Sid Haze trigger, which means that Rydia is probably going down. Rydia and Arcanist, presumably. Unless he really wants to save a point of damage.
Yeah, Rydia and Arcanist.
He is going to use it.
Also, even hit the knight if you want to lock his backup so you can't get Shantoto'd. I don't know how much you even care about that at this point.
Physalis, there's the last Rydia. The last Rydia has been hit into damage. All 3 are now looking at each other. We drew a Hecaton Kyre, not super useful at this point.
Yeah, we really wanted that Heka on the first turn. The Althea came down.
We're going to big Hecaton Kyre here. Yeah, we're going to save Ops for Lulu. Wow, I would have picked Sid Haze. I guess he just wants to keep recycling the summons. So his Sid Haze are gone now. But that's all. It's all, oh man, that's all we were able to do on Joseph's part. This is looking rough for Ice Earth. No Scale Toad, no Unileska, no Vice. All those key pieces we're so used to having.
And there's that hand. Whenever you see someone's hand get that big in an against Ice Earth, you know something's going a little wrong.
Now, the one thing is, if he never plays out any forwards, he'll never get Chaos Arc. I almost wonder if actually if your plan to win this is to potentially just go for deck out and just like try to just stall him forever.
And
He's got you ahead on damage, but he's drawing so many cards. Like surely Icewind is going to deck out first.
that is like a viable win condition for Ice Earth. But do we have the setup that allows us to get there? I mean, look how many cards are left in that deck.
No, we're
That's
nowhere
brings up
close to it. But I also just can't see a world where he is like starts pushing back with forwards. So the Althea is vulnerable right now. So if we had a chance to, although I think he pitched the backup Hecaton Kyre last turn.
Really not a very explosive turn there from Patrick. I mean, I guess we still have the ability to go. Oh, that's actually really funny. We can go tap a backup, cast 2 separate Chocomogs, and get an Atomos trigger on our opponent's turn.
Disgusting.
For some reason, that card is not restricted to just your turn.
Maybe when they made it, they're like, no, I mean, how often are you going to cast 2 cards in your opponent's turn? That's not going to happen.
You should be rewarded for that. Like, how hard do you have to go out of your way to cast 2 cards on your opponent's turn, right?
All right, so there's Vice. We get it off the Kusith, going to attempt to do some sort of resource denial, but yeah, a single dull freeze and a single discard doesn't feel great at this point. You almost wish you were on damage 5 so that Weiss wouldn't be targetable.
I almost wonder if like a Larcacus or something or a Mira would have been better here. Get back the Toad and try to. I mean, we may be past the point where that matters anyway.
Opts to take out the forward.
We are seeing that our win plan is probably mill. We're counting cards in deck. I'm betting, and saying, well, because we've got the Arcanist now. Joey has a very large hand.
Yeah, maybe he's just going to try to stall him. But Icewind also has so many different ways to attack. Although one advantage is he's not dead drawing, but he doesn't have a lock. He doesn't have Zidane. He doesn't have these instant insane pressure cards. It looks like, he might just be trying to dig with Lulu forever.
And we're out of Sid Hayes now too, right?
Yeah, all 3 are in the break zone. And there should be no way to recur that unless there's some magic card I'm not aware of.
So we can replay the Althea here. Our hand is just massive on both players' sides. We're just not putting any forward pressure whatsoever. We can replay the Lulu, but what does that get us exactly? I mean, we're going to do it regardless. I'm just trying to think where we're going.
Assuming we're replaying Lulu, which will be our second. No? Are we just playing? Wow, we're just playing the Chaos. Second cast, reactivate. We're going to attempt to steal Vice. Do we have anything we can do about this? A Fenrir, a Cactuar, something? Nope. Bye-bye, Mr. Vice. Which means what I would love to see on Joseph's turn is crack that Knight and just drop Shantoto on the board.
Crack the Knight.
On his own turn?
He's got to have a forward that costs 3 or less on the
field. Wow. Yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of the Earth one where you can just target anything for Brave. Oof.
Like the Knight's like the best of those Crystal Gen backups, but that is the one vulnerability. It's, I believe, the only one that you can't just crack for the sake of cracking it.
Well, Hecaton works well here too then. If we have another big Hecaton, it'll sweep these both off the board.
There's 2 in the deck.
We know he's used 1. I don't remember if we saw a second one or not. Yeah, if Joseph can win this one, he's going to have to do it through unconventional means. With no Unileska, no Scale Toad.
I will also say that if we get to a game 5... Or not a game 5, a game 3. Yeah.
We're going to game 5? Oh, boy!
It's been a long weekend.
That's okay. What were you going to say about game 3?
If we get to a game 3, I have to imagine that Zidane is such a big advantage, right?
Yeah. And we haven't seen him yet. He hasn't come out of the deck. We did get Vice back again. So presumably you're gonna dull freeze the chaos. Yep, there's another vice. Looks like we pitched Alexander. Not much use when there's no monsters or Physalis on the field.
And we can always get it back if we get threatened. We actually kind of almost want it in the break zone for the Lulu Alexander combo.
That's true. There's another Chaos and another Alexander. I think you let this go through. I think you want your Weiss on damage 5. Yep. So your Weiss is 1k bigger and he can no longer be chosen. So you have one forward that is safe from arc. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure the only way Patrick can deal with this card is putting down Chaos and making him give it over.
Or like a double Luso 7.
Yeah, that too. I haven't seen one of those in a hot minute.
That's going to cause that's a big problem though, because also like Arc is just, he also goes to 9k. He blocks both of these, no problem.
Here you go. He says, yep, I'm going to do just... Wait, can he take Vice if you have Vice on the field?
It will break both of them, I believe.
I'm not 100% sure how that interaction works.
You can I've seen this happen, at least in Kansas City. It was ruled that you can do this. Your opponent can even give you a 40 you already have, but if you do so, they just both immediately break. I almost wonder if you draw Arc, if you arc your own Chaos and make your opponent discard 2 with it.
Your opponent still discards 2? It's not the owner of the forward?
I believe so.
I don't remember what his exact wording is.
And then that will let you replay the other Chaos.
Happy to see Biblos. Let me pull up Chaos really quick here. Or sorry, I need Arc.
Oh, no, you got to choose an opponent controls forward. So yeah, you
Okay.
can arc your own cards. I was like, 'cause I know you can I'm pretty sure you can Physalis bullet your own and your opponent still does the discard.
Yeah. Did we just put out Biblos and pass? Yeah, it looks like it. Here's Chaos. So we could animate Biblos, give that to our opponent. I don't know if we necessarily want to do that. But I feel like you have to keep the Vice on the field. So I think you have to give up Biblos here.
Yeah.
And Biblos can't animate on Patrick's side, so.
And you don't really, he doesn't have an out to this Weiss. If you see this as your win con.
Yeah. Yeah, he has to protect it. Chaos, of course, does not choose. It says your opponent selects, so it does get around Weiss's hexproof.
The problem is, though, he can just do it again.
Yeah, he can just keep doing it every turn.
We have to deal with the problem here.
Well, and they're probably asking right now, what happens if I give him this? Like, do they both die?
It
Because if
should
they
be a
both
double
die, he also then gets it. He could just pull it back with his own Kusith.
Yeah.
So maybe he doesn't mind that as much.
That's clearly what we're checking with the judge.
Yeah, so it looks like you are correct. They both are put into the break zone. We do have a lock in hand. Although we've tapped everything out. Yeah, I'm just going to pass after that. Somehow, some way, Joseph is holding on. We've got a grip full of cards. We've got Shantoto. Like you said, unfortunately, we can't break the Knight. If we were willing to give up our Biblos, we could break it.
That's true. You could actually animate your own Biblos and then dull it, can't you?
Yeah.
That's with an arc on field, though. That is asking for trouble.
Interesting. We warped the Prish. I thought maybe we'd play
Kill
it.
the chaos. I like that. That's clever.
Yeah.
We're not giving our opponent anything to arc while this is on field. And we're still locking him out. He still has no way of doing damage right now, and he can't get through the Arcanist. We might actually see a deck out here.
And there's the tiger. Oh, I love that legend. You could hit the Atomos here. You could hit the Atomos with the tiger, and then you're a little safe to swing in with the Biblos. Because you don't, yeah, you'd put him Damage 3, but you can't activate it. But no, it just goes for the ice lockout. Says enough of your ice shenanigans. Zidane finally shows up in our hand.
I mean, but what does Zidane do here? You can just use the.
It helps you win the deck out war.
It
Starts
does,
ripping
but
cards
it
off
doesn't
your.
get the attacks off though.
I mean, if you lock as well, he's got a full grip. You could also just chaos here and steal the tiger, which is an absurd target.
I wish I knew how many cards we had left in deck.
But
Yeah, that is a very, very fun arc steal for sure.
There's number 2. Yep. Can't lock out the ICP for too long. Gets back Alexander, it looked like. So maybe he's going to break the Biblos. Which prevents us from, oh man, giving Tiger to your opponent off of Chaos just sounds bleh. Although that then does give us a Knight option, and Shantoto is online. Here comes Lock.
And do you lock the Knight to stop that? Do we see that line?
Or the Arcanist. But yeah, I think... Yeah, so he double Dulfros, the Tiger, the Arcanist, discards Larcacus from hand, which could have been used for some revival. And here's Mr. Zidane. Zidane's going to put us to 6. Oh boy, steals a Mist Dragon. That's never a good one to lose on Joseph's side. Also steals Arcanist. That one doesn't matter as much. There's Mr. Hilgigas. Not that action abilities have been too terrible. Would have stopped Althea quite a few times. That deck's getting awful low, and he cannot take another point of damage. I feel like you pretty much have to crack the Knight on the Zidane, drop the Toto, and if you can get a monster, get some other form of defense out there, so our opponent can't just Zidane again. Although the Zidane will get removed, but I'm assuming he runs more than one. He just gives up. No. Oh man, I thought he had Toto in hand.
No, must not have.
Huh. I thought I saw it in there earlier, but I guess not.
I almost wonder if it would have been better to just not cast the Tiger in that situation, but I guess that wasn't really even the problem there. Just try to preserve hand size. But yeah, no, that was going to be rough anyway. Anytime you're telling your wind opponent you're going to see every card in your deck, and I hope it's not enough. That's tough.
Yeah. So congratulations to Patrick. Takes it 2-0. The first game really ran over him. Definitely grinded down a bit more the second game, but yeah, poor Joseph could never get set up with the Unalesca, the Scale Toad. Sadly, it's a cool deck, but he just didn't ever really get set up into like the Ice Earth state that it's kind of known for. And Patrick proving once again that Wind Ice is not to be taken lightly. The Chaos not targeting 2 is so huge that even something like Weiss's damage 5 protection just doesn't matter anymore when you can just steal it from them regardless. I believe there were 313 players in the top cut today. I don't know if any of them are still in there.
At least one of them I know got knocked out because Chris Neal got or lost.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was playing it. Oh yeah, he was playing against this Ice Earth. So
he was playing against Joey and lost.
Yeah, Joey must have seen all his sweepers then, or Chris just got a bad start.
Is on Icewind. He's still in it as of round 2. I know Kyle Peters was on Mono Water. He's still in. I know Kyle McGinty's on Rainbow Wall. Good stuff.